कहा जाता है कि इंडोनेशिया मसाजिद की सही तादाद जो है उसका इल्म सिर्फ खुदा को है कि इंडोनेशिया में कितनी मसाजिद हैं, क्योंकि दुनिया में सबसे ज़्यादा मुस्लिम आबादी वाले मुल्क इंडोनेशिया में लाखों मसाजिद हैं जिनकी सही तादाद अभी तक किसी को मालूम नहीं है। 25 करोड़ से ज़ायद की आबादी का ये मुल्क है और इसमें 90% मुसलमान जो हैं वो रहते हैं। आबादी के लिहाज से दुनिया का चौथा बड़ा मुल्क होने के बावजूद इंडोनेशिया मशरक़ी एशिया के खित्ते की सबसे बड़ी मईशत है और दुनिया की बड़ी मईशतों की तंजीम G20 का रुकन भी है।
इंडोनेशिया में 82,000 के करीब इस्लामी मदारिस हैं। 1970 में होने वाले एक मुआहदे के तहत मदारिस में 70% असरी उलूम और 30% इस्लामी उलूम पढ़ाए जाते हैं। यही वजह है कि वहाँ के मदारिस से फ़ारिग़ तहसील तलबा को दीगर जामियात के तलबा के बराबर मुलाजमत और आला तालीम के मौक़े भी मिलते हैं। और इंडोनेशिया ने अपने मुल्क में मजहबी इंतहा पसंदी को बड़ी कामयाबी से शिकस्त दी है। इस हवाले से इंडोनेशिया के तजुर्बात से सीखने की ज़रूरत है और आज हम इंडोनेशिया के हवाले से बात करेंगे। इंडोनेशिया के इस्लामाबाद में जो सफ़ीर हैं, पाकिस्तान में जो तैनात हैं, आदम टुगियो साहब, वो हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
वालेकुम सलाम।
वेलकम टू द शो।
Thank you very much.
Good morning and welcome to Pakistan also.
Thank you so
When
much.
did you arrive?
13 months ago, it's like a years ago. I arrived December. I start my, resumes my position here in Islamabad.
Okay. So let's start with Pakistan-Indonesia relations. These relationships, like it goes back to the creation of the countries. So can you tell us about these relationships?
Yeah, I think we both two countries enjoy cordial relations, and I think the founding fathers of the two countries laid very solid foundations, and the two leaders have visions in strengthening the bilateral relations, and we are focusing on three aspects. On the trade, certainly is very important to increase trade. Secondly, on the educations, because education is also very important,
Yes.
and bridging a bridge between the cultures, and the cultures through tourism promotion. So that's three areas whereby I'm focusing my energies in trying to promote.
Really? So what are you doing with Pakistan in terms of education? When it comes to education, how are you supporting Pakistan?
Yeah, thanks for raising these very interesting questions. The Indonesian governments provide scholarships to Pakistan, to developing countries, actually to 42. And last year, good news that the majority went to Pakistani students.
Wow.
12%. And in addition to that, many private universities in Indonesia also offer scholarships, and I think there is a lot of interest. In the last 5 years, we see that many students, they apply scholarship for Indonesia because they look at, I guess, 10 universities of Indonesia is already the best, is already in the best 500 QR world ranking.
Wow.
So with that, then a lot of enthusiasm from Pakistani students to study in Indonesia. And I guess complementing to the scholarship provided by the governments of Indonesia, many private institutions in Indonesia also offer scholarship.
Right.
And based on my conversations with them, they are very pleased because most of the students who from Pakistan who studied in Indonesia, they are excellent in.
They're good students.
They are good students
Okay.
and excellent.
Hardworking students.
And also raising the names of the universities because of their achievements in the academics.
Okay.
Right.
Now I want to basically focus on two things. I want to learn two things from Indonesia. One is population management. Now it's got a big population, a huge population, but whenever we talk about population, there's always it's a conflict, it's a debate that if you have more population, then there's a scarcity of resources.
Yep.
How do you manage that?
Well, I think the government's working together with different stakeholders. The education is also very important, plays very important roles. Ulamas also, because Indonesia is the biggest Muslim majority countries. Ulamas also plays very important roles in educating the people how to make a family planning, because I think this is very important.
Very important.
When you look at the growth of the Indonesian population, you will see the growth is stable in terms of the governments are controlling the growth of populations. But I think it needs more than the governments to once again to educate the importance of having a family planning, because with that then we would be able to to build nations, because in the end it is responsibility of all,
of everyone,
of everyone in bringing the prosperities of the nation.
So this is what we need to learn.
What was your second question?
The second question is about religious extremism, because if you have a majority Muslim population and there is a large number of mosques in the country, madrasas. How to tackle this religious extremism, and if we can start with what is being taught in madrasas and how does the system work?
Well, it's very interesting questions. I think when we are talking about extremisms, radicalisms, I think Indonesia is not alone. Many countries are experiencing the same problem. That's why we need to work together, sharing best practices in how we cope with these challenges. Today is more important because with the borderless world, people can get easy to get many informations through internet. So we need to work together in trying to sorting out what kind of the contents that need to be shared.
Yes.
And I think the madrasah really plays very important roles in Indonesia and in moderating the Muslims in Indonesia. I think two very important elements which I think is very important in trying to promote moderation in Islam. First, by changing the curriculums. Madrasah, we know in Indonesia also we have different types of madrasah. For a more traditional madrasah who are focusing on regarding the Islamic values and producing the ulama and safeguarding the Islamic values. And the second, probably like the majority of madrasah, whereby the governments are integrating madrasah into national education system.
Okay, so it's a combination of both type of education.
And in this madrasah, the government not only helping financing the madrasahs also, but also integrating the curriculums into to be consistent with the national curriculum. And very important because with this curriculum, the madrasah, the alumni of madrasah, they can continue their studies to different faculties. So not only on the study of a Quran.
So they're in the mainstream of society.
They are the mainstream of the societies, but they also can take, for instance, if they want to become an engineer, they can go to that. They can go to that faculties. They want to become a doctor. They can go to the medical faculties.
Right.
I myself, I spent 2 years in my early youth, studying in madrasah.
Wow. Oh, I was just about to ask you that if you've been to madrasah yourself.
Yeah, and then I changed, to regular schools, on the 3rd grade.
So that's a combination that we have.
The combinations. And the third very important elements, because we also have what we call it like Islamic schools.
Okay.
Well,
that is different than madrasah.
That's different than madrasah, but that teach, Islam through the actual, curriculum. Okay. For instance, if people, the teachers explains about biology, they try to relate with, the Islamic, Islamic knowledge about the biology. If the teachers, taught physics, for instance, they try also to relate how the physics
is related
love
to
of physics relate to Islam.
Wow.
Right.
But I think this is also consistent with Allama Iqbal, because Allama Iqbal is very popular in Indonesia, and I remember one of the message from Allama Iqbal is we need to embrace technology, science and technology.
Yes, absolutely.
He was very forward-looking, very progressive, very forward-looking.
And when he made reflections about East and West, he said that the advancements of the West, not because of the music, not because of the dance, not also because a religion, but because of the art and science technology. So this is something that, probably, we are trying to...
That is interesting.
Right. His Excellency, we were talking about the religious schools and the model of Indonesia that Indonesia is following, and we can learn a lot from it. I would want to know, and I would want our people also to know about the Women Ulama Council that Indonesia has. What is its role and how was it formulated?
Well, I think women's plays very important roles also in building the nations, and I think with since we also have madrasah for women, certainly there's a lot of ulamas, women's ulamas. So we then establish the councils for women's ulama. So with that, then they can contribute also in the national building. And I think working together with the governments on the educations, on the health issue, that would help governments in trying once again the promotions of family planning, for instance, because in the end, we need more and more women, to educate, the whole populations with the importance of family planning. So that's part of the that's part of the roles that we expect from the ulama roles, and I think women empowerment is very dear, not only for Indonesia but for the OIC's member countries. Yes. If you look at the OIC, there's a lot of resolution in the OIC once again emphasizing the empowerment of women. As
Islam is all about women empowerment.
Precisely.
Exactly.
Precisely. That's one of the ideas.
So men did not challenge this Council of Women. Were they okay? Were they okay about it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they work together. Even now, I forgot to mention two important elements. Also, the roles of civil societies. We have two biggest, Islamic civil society, Muhammadiyah and Nahdlatul Ulama. Both are very supportive to Indonesia. Both also, we have like 44,000 madrasas around Indonesia. 35% of Indonesian students goes to madrasah. Yes. Now, they are very important because they own many thousands of madrasah, and they are also working together with the government in promoting moderations of Islam, in promoting of the middle path of Islam. Yes. That with that, now in one of the biggest Islamic organizations, Nahdlatul Ulama, they appoint 7 women on the board. The board advisors. This is the first time. Wow. This is the first time that 7 women, they sit together. They sit on pars with men, ulama, in providing advice.
This is exactly the model of Islam. This is the model of Islam, where women and men work side by side, and then the society progresses. Finally, we can come to Bali. Talk about Indonesia and its tourism. What do you have to offer other than Bali? Because we know about Bali, but there are, I'm sure, other places also that people are unaware of.
Thank you for raising this issue. I keep telling to my brother and sister, Pakistani brothers and sisters, that you don't need to worry when you want to travel Indonesia, because in Indonesia you can easily find nasi biryani, you can easily find palau, chicken tikka, or even pakora. You can easily find in Indonesia, because in Indonesia you have thousands of those Pakistani cuisines, so easily available. So. Now, since Bali is also already open for international visitors, I invite you also through you to Pakistani, friends to visit Indonesia. Yes. But don't forget, Indonesia is not only Bali. There is many places in Indonesia that worth visiting, like Lombok. Like an hour from Bali, you can find, what we call it, the big dragon, what we call it, Komodo. This is, the Komodo is a very old reptiles, like
and huge,
very huge. But if you look at the textures, like ancient, animal.
Komodo dragons.
Yeah, Komodo dragons. And in those particular area in Lombok, this year we are going to organize GP, Grand Prix motor.
Really? Oh wow!
In those, so in Mandalika. So that's one of that area. In other areas in the Sumatras Islands, we also have, Sumatra, Lake Toba, Lake Toba. So there's many places, but what we are trying to offer to international visitors, travelers to Indonesia. If you visit Indonesia, you see the unique and diverse of, the cultures. Because if people only wants to find, sand and beach, for instance, it is easily.
Right.
There's many places close by, even close by Pakistan. Yes. But the unique of cultures, the unique of art, you can only find in Indonesia.
In Indonesia.
So I can, once again, extend the invitations to you to come to
Inshallah.
Indonesia.
We would love to. We would love to. Thanks a lot, sir. It was an honor to have you in the studio. And लोगों को हमने ये बताया कि भाई इंडोनेशिया में क्या क्या चीज़ें हैं, सिर्फ बाली को ना देखें, उसके अलावा बहुत कुछ है. यूनिकनेस ऑफ कल्चर्स जो है वो आपको मिलेगी,
और पकोड़े, बिरयानी सब कुछ मिलेगा.
बिल्कुल.